Strengholt.
Hang on, I'm off the screen. Let's see. Oh, there you are.
Yes.
What's happening, man?
Yeah, I had some technical problems.
It's okay. No problem.
No, and then I have to call Annette because otherwise.
Well, I know, man. What would we do? Oh, you know what? We're already on.
Okay. Yeah, this is a new system, eh?
Yeah. Trying. Yeah, and yeah, it's kind of new. It's Zoom, but
yeah.
Incorporating it with broadcast software. Eventually, it'll give us. Yeah, we can pull up stuff on the screen, play videos with audio, but.
Yeah. Okay, that's nice.
So yeah, we're trying to, man. What a piece you wrote. That piece you wrote about your stepdaughter, man. Wow.
Nice. Yeah, I had massive reactions on it. So that was.
Yeah. Did you write it when you wrote it? Just when you posted it, or had you written it a long time ago?
No, I wrote it when I posted it. So in one flow, it came out, and yeah, I never talk about it or wrote something about it, but suddenly I felt the urge to do that. So,
man, that's like one of the most prolific stories I've ever heard in my life, man. Just well, it's full of code and inspiration and love and light, and it's just like, whoa, man, that's just like, I don't even know what to say. Just
yeah.
It was very, very incredible. Very incredible. Woo!
Good to hear that. Yeah, and it was a very intense process. So I learned a lot from that, and some things come on your path, I think, for certain reasons. So
no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Let's see. The last time we had a conversation, I believe you were coming down on mushrooms.
Yes. Yeah, that's actually what I also did with the daughter, with the stepdaughter.
Yeah, that was part of the story.
Yes.
I've got a few stories like that, but we won't get into them. I'm seeing an angel right now.
Can you make a picture?
Yeah.
Is it in the clouds?
Yeah, it's in the clouds.
It's amazing how the clouds are formed over here in Holland, and really strange formations.
There's formations all over the world, man, happening.
Yeah.
And I remember, 8 years ago yesterday is when the big event happened in my life. And
2012.
2011. 2011 at 1:11 in the morning. And
wow.
Jesus appeared in these trees, like a big star came into these trees. His face appeared, and he started talking. He started talking to me and said, "Get ready, tomorrow everything's going to blow up." And it did. But what I'm getting at is those first 7 months, I just walked the streets. I didn't do anything else. I didn't work or nothing. And they told me, watch the clouds. Watch the clouds. And I think for the first time, these last few months, it started to make sense to me. You know how that stuff goes. None of it ever makes sense in human terms.
No, that's right. Sometimes it's visual information, symbolic and metaphorical. But you got messages through the clouds direct. You read it more now, or is it?
No, because they wouldn't speak words. They wouldn't speak words. Right after that, I think. Okay, so right after that, it was like when things really started to pick up. Was about. I started May 30th. And it was December, around my birthday, December the 9th. So it was right around that time. And there was a lot of things happened, but I didn't like know what level I was at or whatever. And then one night I looked at the clouds and they parted, they did speak to me. They said, "We're going to show you a little piece of the universe," and they parted, and then the clouds came down, hit the ground, and came through me. And but then I think other times, like a lot of us, they speak to us like, "I'm looking at this thing, and it looks like a dragon, looks like an angel."
Yeah.
and I think they're speaking to us, a phoenix. But
Yeah.
so how's it going with you, man? You had this anniversary of your stepdaughter's transition. You write this incredible piece, which I would read on here right now, but it's really long, but it's
Yeah,
worth
it's long.
reading. I
Yeah.
put it on my page, and I know Morgan put it on her page.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
but so did it come back to you? Was it like a special memory that made you that motivated you to write something or inspired you to write something? I mean, was there something happen on a personal level?
Yes, my ex-wife Margot, she called me and she said because it's always on this day, it's the Ascension Day, I think, the Hemelvaart they call it in Holland. I don't know
That's
how.
what Vera Ingeborg said. May the 30th, essentially.
Yes,
Yeah.
and because Maxime died on that day 13 years ago, but Hemelvaart is always on a different day in the year. So she died on that day, and then Margot had a mushroom ceremony. She was guiding it. She does that sometimes with me also, and but this time she did it on her own with woman. And then she said, yeah, Maxime was there with me also. She helped her a lot, and so then it came back how it started and how I got the idea to give Maxime magic mushrooms so
Yeah.
she could, yeah, lose her fear of death, and that really worked. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's fascinating.
yeah. But it's also the society is a bit afraid of that
Yeah.
because of all the wrong information that is going around. And of course, it are not things to play with,
No.
but I think it is changing now. Did
Well,
you
look.
see what is his name? Mike Tyson. He took from a toad and he's totally transformed. I was
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I met a lady. I met a lady in Salt Lake at an expo I performed at, and she was well, like manic depressant,
yeah,
bipolar, and some other condition. And very cool lady, Mormon, and she was about late 30s, but she ended up going to South America
oh
through
yes,
and doing the toad thing, and now she's actually like an international healer that works with doctors using this holistic method with the toad venom. But you
wow,
know, you're right too, because psilocybin, the magic mushroom, is now being used on PTSD. It's used on veterans. You know what else? Of course, we know the value of ayahuasca and even cannabis. Um,
yes,
but I think everybody's got to discern for themselves and
yeah, of
check your
course,
sources. Check your sources. Don't forget to
yes.
do that.
The information is important and not to start with it right away because you have to know a little what is happening then. Huh? And Margot,
You don't want to
contact.
take it. You don't want to take it and come on the show with like you did last week.
No, yeah,
I'm
but
kidding.
I also I had
I'm
a lot.
kidding. I'm kidding. It was very fun. It was fun. Hey,
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I almost kundalini soulgasm in my pants yesterday.
Ah, great.
I was actually doing a show
Yeah, alive
and
in the
with this
show.
dude, Jed Riverstone, and all these, it was like I was on a hallucinogen. It was all these figures appeared before me as I'm talking to them. They're talking to me, and there was just a lot of Kundalini energy. And you know, I'm joking
Oh,
about it, but there was a lot of activity going on affecting my physical body. Let's put it that way.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it actually drained me of a lot of energy, which I didn't realize until I laid down last night. I felt my body like real heavy. But yesterday was a very energetic day, anyway. So for
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
and it was also Ascension Day. But have you had any Kundalini stuff going on recently?
Well, I have it very strong the last weeks, but I think maybe it's also a bit the springtime. And yeah, I really work with it now, and I can control it and guide it, and it really tells me not in words, but what to do and where to go. And when I'm doing something that is not truthful, it immediately tells me that I'm wrong. So that doesn't feel good. So, and why should I be not truthful and speak forward?
So what do you mean it doesn't feel good? If you're not being authentic,
Yes,
how does your Kundalini react? How does that work?
it's just like I'm off track then,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I know if I go in that direction, and then before I know it, it's hard to get back.
Yeah.
That I'm not in the moment anymore, not
Yeah.
aligned in the here
And,
and now.
and
Because
how do you work with it? How do you exercise it?
yeah,
Don't get too specific.
yeah,
No, but how do you build that
yeah,
energetic?
it gives a lot of bliss and energy. And sometimes it's hard to cope with it, and I
Yeah.
cannot sleep, but
Yeah.
I don't want to lose it. And
Yeah.
how I work with it, because I'm running into old patterns, like it's difficult to say no, and always wanting to be nice, and even though it works on the short term, on the long run, it is not good. Sometimes it is okay to be nice, and you cannot, but not at the cost of
No.
yourself, because then you
No.
also, yeah,
We can't do that anymore, can we? We can't.
we
We
can
can't. We
no,
can't. You know, I just had a dear friend of mine that told me I was mean, and I'm
yeah,
like, I was mean. You know, I mean, I wasn't mean. You know, and I love her. She's my beautiful sister. You know, but you know, something's happening. We can't be nice if it's not authentic. Like it's like faking or being pretentious, and we
yes,
we can't we can't not say no when it's in our best interest. We just can't do it. You know, it's just, I don't know. It's a little tricky, but it's happening.
yes,
There's no doubt about it.
yeah. And sometimes I try to avoid a certain confrontation, and but then it's just the stretching of the suffering. And
Yeah.
it's always a relief when I'm just saying how I feel, and especially when I don't build it up, then it doesn't come out, yeah, in a nasty way. So
No.
and it is actually love that speaks, even if the people don't want to hear that, even if
Yeah.
it's going against their beliefs. It is just communication, and yeah, we are ascending to evolving to truths that are higher, or how do you call that? Uh, yeah, more diverse, more and yeah, it's always things opening up. I
Yeah.
was thinking like it's all starting with in an egg in life, and but it's a constant opening of these eggshells, and I think we are also in a sort of an eggshell that can open, but we feel safe in it,
Yeah.
in this eggshell, but we are going out because we are, yeah, sort of ascending and getting more into a more complex state of being.
Yeah. Yeah. I like
So
that. An eggshell.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's that is the liberation, but it's always when we're used to a certain level, and it doesn't feel like changing, because it's good and it's peaceful and it's quiet. Why should you change? Because you step in the unknown. But
Yeah.
that is the movement of life, and that is, yeah, evolution.
There's I received a message today and a contribution, by the way, from Duncan Alexander. We did at Soulogy. Thank you very
Nice.
much for that, everybody. Thank you all for your love and support and contribution. Allow us to keep doing what we're doing by the seat of our pants.
Yeah.
But it's okay. You know, it's all okay, everybody. We're all living in the moment, learning to be present. But he sent me a note and he said, I don't know if I talked to you. We talked about this last time because I don't remember when it was. But so Morgan and I had physical heriosgamos
Yeah.
And then we had a few more episodes of it, and
Sacred union of
the sacred,
the soul.
yeah. But in the physical,
Yes.
and so Duncan wrote a note to me this morning. He said, I appreciate you guys sharing that. I'm actually going through it on an individual basis. And reason I bring that up is because there's been quite a few people, some that talked to us direct about it, a couple that I can think of, others that have been writing about it. These orgasmic, Kundalini, sacred union type energetic experiences as individuals or couples. Have you noticed a change over the last few weeks in that energy? It seems to be more available in your relationship or individually.
Yes, it's more available, and I originally experienced it individual. It felt like the masculine and the feminine energies, the yin and the yang, Shiva and Shakti, came into balance inside me. So, and that felt like a sort of coming home inside my own heart, and what I was looking for on the outside, I actually found on the inside. And then that energy started to move, and it was not that feeling. Not other people can make it stronger, because love, when it comes together, the energy multiplies, and that higher resonance. But what I feel now is also that the people are changing around me and are more open to it, because they cannot hide also anymore for this. And the soul wants this. The body is the physical or the mental state is a bit afraid or resisting it, because it's something abnormal from the regular experience we as humans have. But I see very great evolutions happening in individual. And also what it changed for me, that the love towards women is more what you say, the heroes gamos, it's a sacred union. It's more on a holy level, and that doesn't exclude the physical parts. It integrates everything. So there is that feeling of intense love and intense intimacy.
And it doesn't have the same rhythm. Because first of all, we can be holding hands and it happens. Then if it starts to become something that looks more like what we came from, what intimacy looked like, let's just say, it doesn't have the same rhythm.
No,
it doesn't have that frequency of lust.
Yes, it's more the taking and
it doesn't. I noticed that. And I noticed that because it's been a journey. I mean, only human. So as you start to get intimate, you start to have these old patterns come up, but it's slowly gone away. And I noticed on the way to where I'm at now, as recent as last night, I noticed that if I start to think in the old pattern or behavior, that it starts to break the energy up. But but I think we've kind of gotten to a point now where we are able to maintain and expand that energy, and every experience is a new experience that brings more than just soulgasmic sensation, sacred sexual vibration, but it brings code and data, downloads, and expanded awareness, expanded higher senses and physical senses.
And actually creation, manifesting, co-creating. And how I deal with it, because sometimes the level of energy is high, and then my ego or my lust body starts to make some sort of crazy fantasies, and if I resist them, they can take over. So but it's when I'm having a sort of a fantasy, I'm not running away from it. It's maybe sort of exercise, and I think maybe people have it on different levels. But I see that when I see the reality of things, and because I can observe my ego trying to bring me things like, and I know it's an illusion because it's again the lust and the grabbing something that you cannot hold on because
Yeah.
it's the love already that is inside. So when I go there and I watch myself, I observe myself, and I see what happens, and then in the end I only see the holiness in woman. I mean, not only the whole holiness, but something sacred. I would not. I cannot abuse or something.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to look for this post that I found this morning. You said, um, it's creation, right? It's
Yeah.
creation. And it actually is. Morgan made a comment here that, that the physical part is not necessary. And
No.
it's not, but we're here integrating in the physical and the non-physical.
Exactly.
And the experiences that we've had, it's like we're all learning again. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
so you literally get there like, what do I do? It's almost like that, but it just takes over. It's very intuitive. It's very natural. There's no rush.
Yes.
And so it comes when it comes. And really, that's really an interesting part of it too, because in our past lives, in our past relationships, we all had this routine, right? You know,
Yes. The karmic
it was like,
patterns.
yeah, it was like an expected part of the program was, when are we going to have sex or whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. And it's something. Yeah. That is transcends time and space. And the moment we try to grab it or get a hold of it or mentalize it, then it's already because it's much bigger than that, and it is us in the same way, and it also. Doesn't leave anything out because that's also what sometimes people do. They try to divide some feelings into negative and positive, and they try to push away the negative feelings,
Yeah.
but then they cannot transform because it's also a feeling that is looking for union. It's all fragmented parts that need to be brought together, and that is the healing because when we bring them together, they lose that negative vibration
Yeah.
because that's I think that's the inner wounding and the healing and the learning and to dealing with it, and that also creates the compassion for other people because you recognize what they are going through, and then it's not so you don't judge them anymore because you see what is going on, and it's just people looking to find to become one, the one that we already are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, just like trying to relate, what the experience is like, whether it's us or you or anyone else, because so much of the time we're talking about, these conceptual things. Basically, we
Yeah.
all know that we have to experience things, and I think that's another thing that I've noticed as a man is that, it's well, there's not a rush. Um, there's not force.
No.
Like, as we would start to build our energy as men, what do we want to do? We want to penetrate, with
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
force,
Yeah. Yeah.
and this is different. And like I've noticed that it just kind of, if of course we have to be conscious of it. I have to be conscious of it,
Yeah.
and it takes a little bit of getting used to. But you kind of hold that energy and kind of wait. You
Yeah.
wait until it's mutual, or till she even, like the woman even, it's just not forced upon her, I guess is what I'm saying. And that's the pattern that we had
Yeah.
in
We
the
had that
past,
because
all of us. That's just a great physical representation of the patriarchal false masculine
yes.
system.
Yes, and I think that also had its place in history to survive and to get where we eventually are now, and that but that is more the destruction, and the creation, growing of things is slowly unfolding of like a flower that is growing up. You cannot look at the seed if it's growing, or pull out the plant to see if the roots are already growing, because it doesn't go fast enough. That is more the masculine old way, and
Yeah.
this is more surrender and more love and more watching the miracle happen and feeling it and being part of it. But the thing is, it's so wonderful that it's almost not hard. It's almost not possible not to want to grab and hold it out
Yeah.
of because it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But that's impossible. So we have to learn that with that patience and everything. Eh?
That's right. That's why I said, it's not like after it happened the first time, we went back the second night. We're like, okay, kind of like let's go for it again. But you can't. It has to be in the flow. It has to be natural. It has to be mutual.
Yeah.
Dr. Joe mentioned among his many jokes, but he says with simple breathing techniques, you can keep the waves going for hours.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I've noticed is it's brought in, it's brought in a controlled breathing for me.
Yeah.
Just naturally, and not to have a necessarily an endurance or something like that. It's not like that. It's actually, no. I noticed the breath is actually allows me energetically to maintain my position. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, that also goes automatically, and it's looking like the plant is looking through the earth to go to the sky, and it automatically knows where to go, and so we only have to be aware of it, and then it happens. And what is happening is also in a place where that is infinite. It's just our experience in the 3D level, if we call it like that, is from linear from one A to B, but it's more now in a sort of circular fashion that is expanding itself, like creation, like opening up of love, like giving birth to our real true, our more true authentic selves, I think.
Another thing, and we mentioned this before, was that first encounter was 4 hours, and I swear to you, there was no sweating. It was like it was, and it went by like we didn't even know it had been that long. So really this is something happening. I'm trying to find these couple of things I read today, and when you said the word creation, it really jumped out at me, because this person, I believe it was a woman, but many people were writing about, in one way or another, sacred union.
That's nice. The synchronicity of things.
People sacred sexual vibration. But this lady wrote something this morning. I thought I shared it to the Soulogy group. I'll have to go look again later. And she was talking about this is happening. And she was talking about the cycle of creation. And she was saying that yes, you have to have this male female to create, but then in the beginning, we were seeded by the mother, right?
Yes.
And so it was talking about not just the sacred sexual vibration, sacred union, and that energy being more prevalent on the earth, but it was also talking about how the system, or how the illusion was set up in this patriarchal fashion.
Oh, yes.
And, I've said many times, if we start just with the fact that we consider God a masculine.
Yeah, but he also had a mother, because every boy has a mother. So God must also have a godmother.
Yeah.
Well, and that's also in the temples in India. First, they got more honored, and they just took it away. The creation of life, the force of love we are living by.
Yeah.
And that's why people get disconnected.
Yeah.
Because it became all just logical thinking, and yeah, only like the map and not the real country they try to sell us in the churches and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Let's see. Yeah, she also. But the thing is, I think that it's not that the one is better than the other. It goes up like this and then like this, and but eventually we're growing together, and instead of like the feminine sometimes say we are going to do it now because you did it all wrong. I think we have to find ways to do it together.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Of course, yeah.
And it's so strange that some people don't get that yet. I understand that they are angry and disappointed, but then it's also they are using the same tactics as the masculine force.
Yeah, that's somebody just made a comment like that.
Yeah.
Asking that. Jenny Smith always writes really great quotes on these shows. Thank you, Jenny. So think about this: the indoctrination of even conception. The greatest lie of the bullshit story of creation is that it's the sperm that forces its way into the egg. That's a flat out lie and proliferates the act of rape on a macro level. The truth is that it's the sperm that sings the right song to the egg that enters. The sperm that vibrates at the right frequency in harmony with the harmony that the egg emits, that she allows in.
Yeah.
If an egg is cracked open from the outside, the life inside it always dies.
Wow, that's great. Yes.
So the sperm can never force the egg to open herself to create life. If she who opens herself and allows him in when she is ready, on a macro level, it's the same or should be. The woman should be wooed by the sound of a man's voice and the truth he emits. His words match with his action, his waggle, dance, and his song should be what causes the woman to open her legs to him.
Yeah.
And then the other
like
side of
the temple, and it's a holy, sacred.
well, that's it. We can't just plunge in there. It doesn't work. That's not the sacred geometric formation. You know what I mean? It's like just what she has in this quote.
Yeah.
You can't crack an egg from the outside because what inside of it will die.
Yes. Yes.
That's incredible. Thank you, Jenny Smith.
Really nice, Jenny. Yeah, and that's why I also work with women now, like with Margot. I do the mushroom ceremonies, and with Enid, we start to do some relation stuff and everything, because she also had a lot of experience with that. And then it's really we are learning while we are doing it from our I would not even call it mistakes, but from our vulnerability we show towards each other, also to the people, because it's not that someone has got it fixed or knows how it works. It's constantly evolving in a playful way, and there are so much complex possibilities that actually I realize now what you are saying, that we are also doing that. We are watching things unfolding, and I take more the position of standing back and letting it being born through her, because of course I want to interfere with the outer world and build a structure and do things, but then that's the old way again. And I'm not saying that it's bad, because we need a structure, but it's more in a cooperative way. So yeah.
The that post I was referring to this morning went on to talk about in terms of he manifest her dream.
Yeah.
She thinks it up, he creates it. And I think that is another
Yeah.
copy of what is the old intimacy, but now the new intimacy.
Yeah.
That
But
we're all
I do it a little different sometimes because yeah, things come up out of the creative source, and I like more her to do the to arrange the things in the world. It sort of feels more natural to me in this moment, more safe.
Yeah.
Perhaps I'm evolving to that it can switch and that we can both take the different positions. But yeah,
I think
and then
yeah.
I give them the power, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's first an energetic imprint or an energetic
Yes.
reality. So if I look at like my own situation or my own story on the linear timeline, Soulogy, the name Soulogy was given to me on March the 10th, 2012, which is Morgan Lee's birthday. But I wouldn't know her for 3.5 years.
Wow.
So what I'm saying is, I found out later that she was inspired years before by the World Puja Network. And she said to herself or to the universe, and this is years before, I would imagine in the early 2000s, and she said to herself in the universe, I would love to create a place where everybody can come
Yes.
and have and you know and share their skills, abilities, and stories and souls and heart. And
Yes.
so think about it. You know what I mean? So
Wow. Yes.
that idea
Exactly.
was
Yeah.
created in the ethers, and then the synchronicity of being given the name on her birthday, and then of
Yeah.
course the rest is being materialized or whatever. But so
Yeah.
there was something about that article, and I'm going to find it and I'm going to repost it or maybe even read it online. But it had quite a few things in there, but it really kind of summed up everything. It summed up where we've been, what is the true history, or her story, really. This whole element of what is creation and how it's tied to our physical, our physical integration with the non-physical with another person incarnated
Yes.
in that pure zero point,
Yes.
really, of
Because that forces
this
us
duality. Yeah.
to do it together.
Yeah.
That's the only way to learn. That's I think why the soul split up or
Hey, you know what, man? Augusti and Vera just came on, and Marco. So they're over in Amsterdam.
great.
Vera, Augusti, Marco, Natasha, and Katie Indicrow from Canada. Katie's over
Oh,
there. Yeah.
they're having a Soul Tribe meeting again.
Yeah, in Amsterdam. Yeah.
Oh, well, they didn't invite me.
Well, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Just jump in the car and go.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, they've been to Bali or something.
They went to Brazil.
To Brazil, yes.
They went to Brazil. Yeah, she was on. They were both on yesterday, and they were just hanging out and talking to some friends in Brazil, and
Great.
and a lady friend of a friend, a Soul Tribe, sibling, said, "Hey, I'm buying 2 tickets to bring you to Brazil," and they were
Wow.
gone they were gone the next day. That was 1 day's notice, right? And
Yeah, and that's also
Katie's doing the same thing. Katie jumped on a plane and went to France, and she's sitting in a hotel with $150 left, not knowing how she's going to get back 3 or 4 weeks down the road, and put out an
great.
appeal to the community, and the community came to her aid, and now
Yes.
she's in Amsterdam partying at the coffee shops in Amsterdam. But I
Yeah,
know
and
she's
life is arranging it by itself because we're sometimes afraid to let things go our houses and all kind of stuff. But
yeah.
there's always coming something new for in the place, and the
Uh,
learning experience is so good. And but we can do it together so much. I think there's so much more possibilities when the forces are combined. It's already starting, of course,
yeah.
and it's also in testing phases. And also a new way of working.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Yeah. We were talking about that when two or more come together and they're aligned, you know, the same intention and all that, the things that happen, the code that's exchanged between us without even words being said. There's a sister in Netherlands, and she asked earlier, "Were you Dutch?" And I forgot to mention Helga Bijhout. She says she's in Eindhoven.
Eindhoven.
Eindhoven, in the healing rooms. So
Okay.
I don't know how far that is. So there's a lot of people
That's not so
congregating in the Netherlands over there.
Yeah. That's nice. Yes. Yeah, a lot of spirituality going on.
Yeah.
I would not even maybe use the word spirituality anymore, but it's all just words. And
So did you have any feeling or impression when you were writing that piece about your stepdaughter and all that happened? Did you?
well, yeah, the strange thing was that because when I was into that situation, I took the part of taking care, doing all kind of things, making sure that everything. So I never got to my own emotion, and I thought, but I wrote it, and I and then I read it, and then the emotions came. That was strange for the first time, because I think I took a sort of a distance from it. So I
Yeah.
really felt tears. That was really fun that you write the story. And,
Yeah.
yeah, but really good, wonderful, great feelings, because there also we had a Buddhist that guides people when they die, a lama also, and
Yeah.
he told her with how do you call that, the bardo. There are all kind of techniques to go to the other side, and we also went there, and with Maxime and Margot, and that was also, so it became more a sort of an adventure to
Yeah.
go to the next level.
Yeah.
And she experienced her soul, that it could live without a body, and she gave a lot of signs also.
Yeah.
She left even with the light that she said that she would put it on 3 times, and
Did
that
that
helped.
happen?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I look for a explanation, because I think part of me doesn't want to believe that. So I thought I was vacuum cleaning. I thought I was doing something with electricity, but it was really 3 times that it went out. And
Isn't
all,
that?
yeah, and birds came inside the
Yeah.
house all the time. It was incredible.
Isn't that amazing? We get all this incredible evidence, and we still try to find a way to
Yes,
to say no, that didn't happen.
yeah, so much science, and then but the moment of fear, because it's like it's not it's like it's sort of a fairy tale when you look at it from a logical part, but it is just happening all the time, all those signs, and yeah, and
especially
also, yeah,
especially now. Especially now.
yes, yeah, yeah. The moment comes that everything sort of happens at the same time, moment. How do they call that? The singularity.
Yeah.
And that's the switching point. And I think we are going towards that already, because I think sometimes things, and then you see them, other people think them, and it is a collective evolution that's going on.
Yeah.
I'm sure about that. Yeah.
So you put your second book out, your second part of the
Yeah.
series. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
also something. When I start to write, I get inspiration, and it just comes up, and I have all those, but the putting it together in a book, because I already have Global Awakening 2 ready.
mhm.
And but there's also someone who's going to help me with that, because if I do those things, I get lost, and it goes at the cost of the creativity. But it's also necessary to find a sort of a balance inside that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you do one-on-one sessions with people online?
Yeah, but usually not online. Although it sometimes when we meet and then we do with WhatsApp, and then it's strange, but sometimes it's even better to tune in and to get to a certain point than in direct confrontation. When the physical is there, the
physical's better than the distance.
well, sometimes the distance is better. It feels like the soul is stretching out and the contact is really deep. And I can also make real contact and see where the blockages are. And that's also sometimes a bit frightening for people because they really feel seen. And but I all the time explain it, and they know what happens. But still, when it happens, it's a bit shocking.
Yeah.
And it's all that's also what I'm learning to deal with now is the connection and the feeling of responsibility and the allowing people to make their own mistakes. That was also a mistake I did with my ex-wife. I saw the patterns where things went wrong. So then I said, well, but she had to experience that to learn. So I have to allow that. And that's also very difficult for me from the masculine perspective. Even if I have a good intention, it still makes the path longer. Yeah.
Helga wants to know where you're at in Netherlands.
In Westervoort, that's near Arnhem. I think it's about 45 minutes of Eindhoven. So it's nice to meet her sometimes.
She's wanting to know what kind of sessions you do. And I don't know, are you interested in people contacting you for online sessions?
Yes.
So and how, why don't you tell us what kind of session you do online or in person, and then how people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, it's a bit difficult with Messenger because I get so many messages in there that I cannot keep it up with what is coming in, and that's really not so good. So also there, Enid is going to help a little to regulate that, and then make a sort of an appointment, and we'll see what happens.
How do they contact you? By email or messenger?
Usually through Messenger.
Okay.
But I don't know how it works with you, but
I can't get to mine. I'm giving up. But now, as far as what type of session work could you that you offer online, what can you just give me a general idea of what kind of session? Annette just put up your email, so you guys can email on the live or the replay. You can email Henk Verhaeren at hotmail.com because he's hot.
That's Enid. I'm going to work with her also. We're going to work together.
Yeah. And so what kind of session can you offer online?
Yeah, what I do is to see where the energetic blockages are, because I feel that very easily, and then we can work on that, where the fears are, and then I start to help people relax and calm down deeper in the moment, and then the confrontation with their true self and what they really want happens.
Wow.
Very natural.
Very cool.
Yeah, and it can go so fast. So that's really, I'm really thankful to be able to do that. Yeah.
That's good. That's very good. So, those of you watching live and those of you watch the replay, Henk Verhaeren at hotmail.com or on Instant Messenger. Hank, you've also got a couple of books out recently, right? You've got two. The second one came out already too, right?
Yeah. And
so where can they get those books?
They can get them on Amazon and on Kindle. We have the printed version and the what do they call
ebook?
The
ebook.
Yes.
So you have it on Amazon. So you basically can Google Henk Verhaeren, book
Yes.
or author, and it'll come up. It'll come up, take you right to Amazon.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
And with Enid is here. Can she wave at you for me?
Yeah, I said hi to her a minute ago. I said hi to her a minute ago. She didn't see me.
Yeah, that was Annette.
Oh, I know.
This is
Oh,
Enid.
Hello, Todd.
hello.
She's a
Hello.
great fan.
Having a
She's a great fan of you also, and we are going to work together more the relationship part stuff.
Very
Also,
cool.
actively working, and we know a lot each other for a long time, and
Henk helped me out a lot on a few complications in my life.
yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Congratulations to both of you on your endeavor together.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you guys want to do a show together, just reach out to me or Morgan and
Wanna do a show together?
put something. Yeah, whatever the topic you're working on. I think relationships are a big issue in this time. A big issue. You know what I mean?
And we also say things that sometimes the other doesn't want to hear, but
well, we can do that part of it too.
It's nice because then you can show how you can find ways to cope with it without shutting off. And
very good. Well, let's do that. And that's putting up the book links and the other links. And you two reach out to me or Morgan when you guys want to do a show together. And we'll talk about what you're doing and the subject matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
All right, brother. I'll see you later.
Okay.
It was nice meeting you. All right.
Really great.
Yeah, good to see you, man. You take care.
Yes. All right. Okay. Thank you.